Okay.
That show is so good it will get you pregnant. That was amazing. Did we see clips at the tail end from the coming season? Or is that all stuff we've seen before? I saw a few shots that I hadn't seen. There was new stuff. There was new stuff, right? They should have told me that. I would have announced that beforehand. That's something worth knowing, because I fucked off to grab a cigarette. And I was like, hey, maybe there's new stuff, and came back. Just in the nick of time. Folks, thanks for coming out today. I'm going to start with Ron and David, because you guys are the brainchildren behind the show. We have Frack, we have Mother Fracker, which is a fantastic way to curse on TV and nobody says anything about it. Big ups, I wish I'd thought of that years ago. But will we ever hear the Capricorn equivalent of cocksucker?
We're working on it.
You only got 10 episodes left, dude, hurry up.
We're saving it for Caprica, so we'll explore new and creative ways to curse in Caprica.
Fantastic. I'm sure a lot of these people have watched all the DVDs, been to pounds before, so they know a lot about the history of the show. What I'd like to focus on today, more importantly, is you guys are in the home stretch. You're almost done. Is it bittersweet, or you thank God it's finished?
It's hard. You know, we wrapped production on the final episode of Battlestar about 3 weeks ago, something like that, and it was hard. It was a very emotional time for everybody. It was very difficult to sort of let the show go, but I think there was a general sense from all of us behind the scenes and the cast and just everybody associated with it that this was the time to end the story, that we had reached a point in the tale that we were telling where it just felt like it was time to resolve it and time to put a period at the end of the sentence. And you know, there's a great deal of satisfaction with being able to tell, you know, the end of your story that I think we all found.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with it was that, you know, when we had the wrap party, which is typically when you get to make out with or tell to go screw themselves, the person you've been holding back from all those years, we couldn't because there was still shooting left to go. So it sort of ended with a whimper, not a bang. You know, we still haven't like had the this is sort of the goodbye right here. You guys.
In which case, go screw yourself.
Exactly.
So I watched the show religiously, and then at the the mid-season, what was it called? It had a weird, awkward long name. Mid-season final episode ever until the next 10 next year, or something like that. And all of a sudden they're getting Earth. I knew something had to happen. You were going to either give us the fifth Cylon, or you were going to let us go to Earth. And we go to Earth, and then there's a giant fuck you at the end of it. Why so cruel and hostile? Why can't these dudes enjoy a week down? Where like maybe they get to Earth a week before, perhaps if there were bombs they hit, they get to hang out with people and shit like that. What I thought, I'm watching the episode, they blast into Earth's outer atmosphere, and I was like, it's just going to be a series of missiles launching from the Earth and taking the fleet out, and then the last 10 was going to be all about the Capricorns and the Cylons battling Earth. Why didn't you do something that cool?
We had a lot of arguments about whether to end the first 10 revealing the Baltars of Fifth Cylon or whether to wait. Wait a minute. Oh, this isn't one. Oh, sorry.
Actually, you know, with the writer's strike, that could have been the very end of Battlestar, too. That was what was floating around the set, because we had finished shooting the first 10 almost exactly in time with when the WJ went out on strike. And so there was a lot of speculation that if the show never came back, if the strike really crippled the industry permanently and they had to cancel the show, that would have been the end. And that was like, oh, that would kind of suck. And they got to Earth and it was really bad. The end. Thank you.
Without revealing too much, because I know there's certain places we can't go yet, what do they do for the next 10 episodes? Just sit around like, fuck, why didn't we stay where we were?
There's a fair amount of that. There's a fair amount of recrimination and sort of wondering where they go next and what do they do with the knowledge that they do discover, you know, as they sort of explore Earth and what it means and what's happened on that planet and, you know, what it all means to each of them. And then the story continues, I think, in unexpected ways. And there's just a tremendous amount of upheaval. You know? Things aren't pretty on Battlestar for a while. It's not really, you know, the most happy-go-lucky 10 episodes we've ever done, which is something of a shock, I'm sure. So yeah, things get bad. Things get really rough out there on the Battlestar fleet.
Lee gets really fat this time.
Why'd you look at me when he said that? Let me ask you a question about that. One show, you were kind of heavy. Next show, you were boxing, suddenly you were thin. How do you lose weight that quick? Is there a secret? Will you share it with me?
2 fingers down the throat, often at meal times helps. A Jenny Craig tie-in deal too. That's good. And a new diet coming out next season.
How did it feel this year to become a politician? It was weird seeing you out of the suit, out of your flight suit, walking around in like a suit and tie.
Oh, so good.
It was like watching Dallas for a while. I was like, what happened? Why is this suit bad?
And the hair got better and better and better, and more orange and more orange and more orange with every episode. As my hair dye faded, and I got to gloat when Katee and Trucco here and everyone got dressed up in green sweat-proof suits and waddled around in their own juice.
It's totally fine because we had sweet revenge at the end.
Don't tell them that. No, it was a breath of fresh air to be a catalogue model for them.
That's all you got for me, really? Moving on to somebody a bit more loquacious. James, when you, yes, he's very sexy. When we talked about it in the New York Con, like taking the role and like, I'm playing the dude in the cave, fuck this noise. But from the old show.
Yeah.
But guys, Walter, on this show, that's a pretty cool and very complex character, but he's also the guy who fucks the most on the show. There was a whole three-way thing last season.
I had to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things just in a story that, especially like this, it's, what is it? In an American mindset, the bad guy gets more tail. Can I say that? You've got a sign here saying, please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age. Okay, so I think tail is a good way to put it then. Yeah, and funny enough actually, I found making the first stuff a real, what's the word? If you're preaching to people that you're in love with God or you're seeing a new way, can you also be a nymphomaniac on the side? You know, genuinely, I'm being serious. It's like, you know, does that make you less spiritual? Absolutely. But it took me like 3 years to work that out. I was like, all the time I was like, I want to do one thing, but I'm also like woman crazy and a nymphomaniac. It's like the way you think, it's like that makes him a bad person or not reliable or he's only kind of got one thing on his mind. And then I was like, there must be so many people who, they've got goodness in their heart, but they're obsessed with something, one particular thing. Thanks, again.